Welcome everybody. My name is Andrea Miller and I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator here at Community Hospitals and Wellness Centers in Bryan. And I'd like to welcome our live audience and viewers at home to Live It, Cooking with Kids. I'm so excited to have two of my favorite young people here with me today, Rachel King and Ryan King, my niece and nephew. I think you guys win the award for my youngest sous chef so far, but I kind of needed some kids to do a Cooking with Kids episode. And also the sous chefs that have traveled from the farthest distance. These guys drove all the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan this morning to help me today. So thank you guys so much for being here today, and I'm so excited to cook with you and make some fun, kid-friendly recipes. We're gonna do popsicles today, and we're also gonna do pancakes. So, I don't know about you guys or childhood memories that you have, but who didn't love popsicles on a hot summer day? And hopefully we have some hot summer days in our near future. So I'm going to show you a healthier twist for those. These popsicles are actually healthy enough that you can serve them for breakfast. It's something that I like to do a lot of times for my kids, is give them popsicles for breakfast, because it's just a really fun way to get good nutrient-dense foods in their tiny tummies. So we're going to get started. So our featured ingredient today is the mango. Do you guys like mangoes? Have you ever tried mangoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite food.
It's your favorite food? Fruit? You guys are pretty good. Fruit. You guys are pretty good eaters. Rachel and Ryan, this actually isn't, they aren't new to cooking. They're pretty good chefs. What do you guys like to cook in your kitchen at home?
I like to make homemade pasta with homemade bread and homemade tomato sauce.
All right, so we have a pasta with tomato sauce and bread. Ryan, what do you like to cook in the kitchen?
Probably pizza.
Pizza? But when you make pizza at home, are you opening a box and putting it in the oven?
No.
No. How do you make pizza?
Homemade pizza.
Homemade pizza. So you make the crust?
Yeah.
What types of ingredients go in your crust?
Usually like flour and all the ingredients that you usually have.
What do you use to make it rise? What's that called? Do you remember?
Yeast?
Yeah. Great job. So, yeah, and what do you like to put on your pizza? What kind of toppings?
I like pepperoni, mushrooms, green peppers, sometimes bacon.
All right, some meat in there too, guys. So the kids are going to assemble the popsicles. I'm using mango in the popsicles, but you don't really have to use mango if you don't like the mango or have another fruit available to you. You could use blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, banana. What other fruits do you think would be good in popsicles, guys?
Raspberries.
Raspberries, yep, or blackberries, or what else? Think of anything else?
Peaches.
Peaches would be a great one to have in a popsicle, yeah.
Cranberries.
And that's actually, peaches are kind of like a mango. They're the less tropical version of a mango, I think.
Also put cranberries.
Cranberries, yeah. Maybe like the sweetened ones a little bit. Yeah. You want to sweeten them. So let's get started on cutting up our mango. A lot of people walked into the room and they're a little bit unfamiliar with what's on the table. Everyone in our live audience gets to take home a mango today. I'm going to put on gloves because I'm actually slightly allergic to mango. So I'm risking my, well, I'm not. I just get kind of, my lips get a breakout on them from more the sap and the skin of it. So be careful touching the sap of the mango if you can see some sap on it. Just be careful with that. Be careful with the skin. You don't want to eat the skin of the mango. So to get started, there's two sides. I mean, if you look at a mango, there's kind of like a flatter side and a more skinny, rounded side. So you want to slice the flat side. So I'm going to put, there's a little top here where the stem was. I'm going to put my knife right next to where the stem was and slice through the mango. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to take my paring knife and I'm going to slice the skin off all the way around. So a mango is a tropical fruit grown in warm climates. but it's available here locally. I can usually find a mango year-round. They come in different colors, different shapes, different sizes, so the color's not a good indicator of whether it's ripe or not. But you just kind of want one that is kind of a little bit squishy to the, not squishy, but I guess gives to gentle pressure when you touch it. So I'm going to save that for later. I'm going to show you how to get a lot of the meat off of the skin in a simple step. And this is something I wouldn't really trust most kids to do. These guys could probably handle it because they're pretty good in the kitchen. But I'm just going to take it and I'm going to gently, oops, that's the sharp side. I'm going to gently score the mango with a paring knife. So I did slices in one direction, and then you're going to kind of go the other direction. And if you want to put it down on a counter, you can. But you don't want to cut through the skin. You just gently want to cut just barely to the skin. So I kind of have a crosshatch pattern there. And then I'm going to flip it inside out. And then I'm going to put this over here. So it looks kind of cool, huh? And I'm going to put this down right in front of Rachel and Ryan, because they're going to use some of this.
It's like a turtle shell.
It looks like a turtle shell, absolutely. Like, what are some of the video game? Does it look like a video game character, Ryan?
I don't know.
No. It looks funny though, huh? And then this part, you can just sort of cut, just slice some of the fruit off of it. There's a big old pit in the middle, and you will not be able to eat that. Sometimes it's difficult to get all the fruit off of the pit. It's quite a big pit right in the middle. So Rachel and Ryan, I'm going to let you start with the yogurt. I don't know, Ryan, do you want to be pink, or do you want your sister to be pink?
Sure.
Okay, I'll give you the blue, and Rachel can be pink. But hey, if you like pink, go for it. And then, so you can each take a spoon and go ahead and spoon, and you can actually pick these up if you want to hold them. They come right out. This is one of my new popsicle molds from home, and the popsicles actually come out of the base. So go ahead and spoon some vanilla yogurt into the popsicle mold, and don't worry about being messy. You can be as messy as you want, but not in your home kitchen. I'm looking at my sister who drove all the way here today with her kids and telling her kids they can be messy, but I'm sure you don't want them to be messy at home. All right, so that's plenty. We just want a little bit of yogurt there in the bottom. Actually, you can do it any way you want. You can have fun with it and do the layers how you want to do the layers. So go ahead and let's put a little bit of granola in. I have a special kind of granola that I really like. It's called Bare Naked Triple Berry. And it's one of the lowest granolas that I found in sugar. So I think there's only 3 grams of sugar per quarter cup of granola. So pretty decent as far as granola goes. And there's these chunks of freeze-dried berries in there, big raspberries and blueberries. And then go ahead and put some fruit in there. And if you need a spoon to kind of push it down, you need a spoon, Ryan?
Yeah, sure.
While they're doing that, I'm going to get started on our pancakes just by melting the butter. So I have a 1/4 cup of butter that I'm going to put in a skillet, but at home, go ahead and use your microwave. But since I don't have a microwave in this room, I have a 1/4 cup of butter in our skillet, and I just need to melt it. So I'm going to turn on the heat and let it melt while they're finishing up. Yep, so you can put some more yogurt, more granola, however you want to make these pops. Anything goes. So mangoes are actually loaded with a lot of different nutrients. They're rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, are a couple of the top nutrients in here. And also the nutrients beta-carotene and zeaxanthin, which are good for your eyes and your skin. So lots of excellent nutrients in the mango. How you doing there, guys?
I think
Do you have them layered how you like them?
Yeah,
mine's
I want to
great.
put some yogurt on top
So
of it.
yeah, they look great.
Well,
Make sure not. So then what I like to do is just take the popsicle and just kind of, tap it down. And then go ahead and put the popsicle stick in.
No.
And kind of,
Patch it down.
yep. And then go ahead and stick it in the mold. And then you go ahead and stick that in the freezer for roughly 3 to 5 hours or more, however long it takes to get it nice and solid.
Here,
And then run it under hot water
Wait.
to get the popsicle out of the mold.
Perfect.
So, looks good, guys. Those look delicious. All right, so we're gonna slide some of this out of the way. Yeah, if you don't have popsicle molds, first of all, they're very inexpensive. You can find popsicle molds at Walmart for like $3. Or if you do not want to invest in popsicle molds, or if you have really little ones that aren't gonna eat that big of a popsicle, here in the audience, they sampled some little tiny popsicles in ice cube trays, so you could use an ice cube tray to make mini popsicles. Just cover it with foil and put a popsicle stick in, or Dixie cups would work pretty well too. And again, cover it with foil and put a popsicle stick into that if you don't have popsicle molds. Those would be great options. So, all right, guys, let's get started on these pancakes. And while we were talking, our burner turned off. So I'm melting some butter, and actually we can get started here. So these pancakes are a little bit different than your normal pancakes. You may have seen advertised we're doing square pancakes. One, because it's fun, and two, because it's gonna save you time. We're actually gonna cook our pancake in a sheet pan. So you guys make pancakes a lot at home, right?
Yeah.
So usually making pancakes involves you're standing at the griddle, somebody's flipping it. Who's flipping the pancakes?
Me.
You
We
flip the
usually take
pancakes?
turns.
Okay,
So, like,
you
we
take
do it
turns.
round and then
And then like I pour the batter and she flips it. And then
There you go. So it's teamwork. So maybe you'll want to keep doing that. But the reason why I like this is because they're all done at the same time. So instead of half the family eating the pancakes and then the other half of the family gets to eat the pancakes, you can all sit down together as a family and eat together. Plus, there's a lot of fun steps for kids to do. So you guys are pretty experienced, but some kids aren't as experienced as you or just getting started. Rachel and Ryan's niece and nephew, my kids, they're here today too. Miles and Riley. Looks like Riley's a little tuckered out over there. But things that they help me do in the kitchen. Riley's my dumper. He likes to dump things into bowls. We call him our dumpster. That's his nickname. And Miles likes to stir. That's what his favorite thing to help me with in the kitchen is. So baking allows for a lot of dumping and stirring. Rachel and Ryan are going to be measuring a lot today. So lots of different steps. Plus, you're not cooking over a heat source. You're just putting it into an oven, which is a safety feature as well. Not using a lot of sharp knives either. So we have our butter melted. I'm going to actually grab some measuring spoons, and I'm going to drizzle. So there's 4 tablespoons of butter in a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to take out 2 tablespoons and drizzle it over my sheet pan. And then I have 2 pastry brushes here. One for Rachel and one for Ryan. And they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna brush the butter all over our sheet pan. Make sure it's all covered. And while they're doing that, the other fun thing
make sure it's not gonna be globby.
about these pancakes is not only do they have fruit in them, they also have vegetables in them. So I'm calling them my power-packed pancakes because we're going to put a lot of good stuff in here. I love squeezing fruits and vegetables in anywhere I can with kids because sometimes it's hard to get them just to eat vegetables or just to eat fruit. So I pack them in all different fun places, especially baked goods. So I have a carrot, which I'm just going to give a quick peel. And we're also going to use zucchini today. And you need a 1/2 cup of each of them. I just have a little grater. Actually, can I cut the end off the carrot there? And while I'm doing that, would you guys want to crack the eggs into the bowl? Okay. We'll slide that down a little bit, and I'll put the bowl over here. And here's some eggs. You can go ahead and crack the eggs in the bowl. I'm starting with the eggs just in case we get a shell in there. It'll make it easier to remove. So we're going to do the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients.
Don't see any shells.
Nope.
See any shells?
Nope.
Nope.
Good job, guys.
Actually, you're like
This is the step. How would you guys feel if I asked you to grate right now? I'm not going to, but how would you feel?
I feel pretty confident.
You can do it?
I could do it,
Because
but
you made this at home last
Yeah.
weekend, and did you grate the vegetables
Yeah.
by yourself?
Ryan did the carrot. I did the zucchini.
So again, grading might be a more advanced kid skill. Younger kids, this would probably not be a good step for them to do. So you just need a half cup, and as it gets down where there's not as much carrot left to hold on to, you want to make sure you're really careful.
That's when Mom usually takes over.
Okay, good mom. Okay, and then I'm gonna do half a
Zucchini.
cup of zucchini as well. Zucchini's a little bit bigger, or a little bit easier to grate because we have a
Soft.
bigger handle to hold on to.
And it's more soft.
Yes, it is softer too. So we have orange and green, so
Chunky
lots of
come
pretty
out.
colors. The carrot is going to add a lot of vitamin A to this recipe. Okay, looks about good. Let's get started with our other wet ingredients. I have some milk. We're going to use 2/3 of a cup of milk. Who wants to measure the milk?
Me, like,
All right. You remember what line to go to? Yep. So again, I think baking with kids can help with math skills. We're working on fractions. We're doing 2/3 of a cup. And Ryan, I mean, these kids are so skilled. Rachel's pouring. Ryan's getting down on eye level to make sure he has the right measurement. So go ahead and pour that in with the eggs. We're going to throw some fruit in there as well. So we have a half cup of applesauce. That's your favorite, right, Ryan?
yeah,
You
like,
love applesauce. Riley loves applesauce too, my youngest. It must be a second kid thing, huh? And then we're going to just dump the remaining 2 tablespoons of butter in there. And a little bit of vanilla. Let's do a teaspoon of vanilla. Just like that.
yeah.
It's a 4th.
Okay.
Here, you want me to hold it?
Sure.
Look how good they work together. Are they this nice to each other at home?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So just one of those?
Yep. Okay, and then just go ahead and whisk it
Here, she can have it.
together. Oop, and I forgot to add our carrots, and
Oh.
we'll add our carrots and our zucchini right in there. And I just kind of eyeballed the measurement.
You can do more or less.
Yep.
I definitely wouldn't do a ton of time.
Right, it'd be a little bit too much veggie, huh? Yep, make sure to get that yolk broken. Good job. And then we have to do our dry ingredients.
Sure.
So I'll take that.
Yeah.
And I'll keep whisking while you guys do the dry ingredients. So we'll grab the other bowl.
Here, I can move these up. I'm gonna move these up from here.
Just one at a time.
And I'll actually take that cookie sheet out of your way too. Awesome. Okay, so we'll start with the flour. We're using whole wheat flour today. Although something that I like to do at home is include some variety in our flours and maybe use a little bit of quinoa flour or oat flour, almond flour, coconut flour. Do you guys use different flours?
Yeah.
What kinds of flours do you guys like to use?
Well, sometimes we mix the wheat and the other flour.
Oh, Dad accidentally did that.
Yep, you can do that too. And that's what I usually do too. If you're gonna be mixing flours, you may not want to use all almond, like you probably don't want to use all almond flour. You want to do a blend of some different flours. So we're gonna use 1.5 cups of flour. If you are doing some different flours in there, like almond or quinoa, maybe start with no more than 1/2 cup of a different type of flour.
Yeah, but
I usually have a butter knife to kind of level it out, but we
Use
don't
a
have one
finger,
right
maybe?
now. So there's a cup.
Is that a half?
yeah,
no, that's a half.
Oh.
You're good. There you go. Good job. And then we will do, oh no. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Had to leave the powder in the labels on there. It's really hard to tell baking powder and baking soda apart when
I'll do the baking.
they're in a bowl unlabeled.
Teaspoon.
I'll do the baking powder.
1 teaspoon of the powder.
That powder?
Yeah.
Always double check.
Yep, always double check those because you don't want to mix those two up. Oops. That's all right, they look the same. We have extra.
I think one time I was making cookies, I read the label down, and I accidentally put 1.5 cups of milk and not half
yeah.
a cup, so they turn into biscuits, not cookies.
Okay.
Here, that's better.
Hey, you gotta be flexible in the kitchen sometimes. And then we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda.
So let's find a half. 1/2 teaspoon of soda.
No, do you have to put it in the
And a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon.
So same thing.
And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And the salt helps with the texture and the flavor and rising and all of that, but sometimes people don't mind cutting back a little bit, especially if they're on a low sodium diet.
I think when we made it, well, Ryan's just so used to just adding a pinch of salt.
Oh, okay, you
so
just added
he
a
just,
pinch.
He
I do like 2 pinches.
And then you can just go ahead and whisk that to incorporate the ingredients.
Yeah, you put it.
make sure you get his stuff on the bottom.
Yeah,
because
you have to,
And make sure you get all the cinnamon. You don't want a big chunk of cinnamon.
right, you don't want chunks of cinnamon or baking
Chunks of
powder or
anything.
baking soda. All right.
Oh.
Now you have to mix the wet and dry together. Which way do you prefer to go?
Usually we
maybe
put
wet
the
and the dry.
Okay. I'm gonna put the wet and the dry. I don't want to know what you're thinking, Ryan. those giggles.
Here, you do it.
Actually, this might work too, Di.
Yeah.
outside.
Oh, I did that same thing when we were making it. I used the whisk instead of the spatula.
Here, you can use the spatula.
Okay.
I whisk
You can
this.
both stir. This is what we do at home too.
Smells really good.
Both kids have to stir. How's it look? And you don't have to mix it really
Wait,
well.
dip-
You just want to
there's
make
some
sure it's
flour
all
on the
kind of
bottom.
incorporated.
See all
It's a
that?
bit of flour on the bottom that we need to incorporate. There, it looks
I'm not
pretty
gonna
good.
get stuck to this though.
Just
Alright.
tap it off. Just put it on the side.
It's coming off.
There.
How's it look, guys?
That looks great.
All right.
Look.
So let's put it into our sheet pan. And you're just, so it's already buttered. Some people do like to coat this with foil, but I tried it without at home and I didn't really think the foil was necessary. Obviously you do the foil and then the butter, but I did not think the foil was necessary, so.
Could you use olive oil instead of butter?
You could. That'd be a healthier substitution, for sure. You have a dietitian in training here.
Or avocado oil.
Avocado oil, yeah. You could use avocado oil.
That's what we used, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, we use butter.
Oh.
Yep,
We have avocado oil.
since the butter is melted, you could swap out any type of oil that you wanted to use. Anytime you see that butter is melted in a recipe, it means that any liquid oil would swap out just fine.
Isn't applesauce a substitute for oil too?
Sometimes it can be, yeah, because it adds a little bit of moisture.
Texture.
So maybe if we didn't have the applesauce in here, we would have had to add a little bit more oil to make it taste good.
I think
Or a little more
applesauce makes
butter.
it taste better because avocado doesn't really have too much of a
It
taste.
doesn't. You like the sweetness of applesauce better. You could also swap out mashed bananas potentially for the applesauce. That would work too. All right, now here's the fun part. We're gonna have some fun, guys. We're gonna decorate, so we're gonna do a craft. These kids love crafts. They love doing crafts. So I'm gonna leave it up to them. We have some blueberries and raspberries, and we can slice up some banana and strawberries. You can decorate it any way you want. Ryan, I know sometimes you're kind of funny about your fruits, aren't you? What?
When we made it, we did
Half.
like half and half. So like we
Okay,
did
so
kinda
you didn't
different.
even put any fruit on one side. But I know, don't you like syrups made out of fruit?
Yeah.
Doesn't your mom? What kinds of fruits do you use in your syrups that you put on pancakes?
Blueberries.
Blueberries, yeah. So you
Cherries.
could,
Cherries.
and we actually did that in a Live It episode a while back. I think it was more than a year ago now, where we did a blueberry syrup. It should be in the cookbook or on the recipe website where to make a blueberry syrup. So you can make a blueberry syrup, a raspberry syrup, or any type of berry. So instead of putting fruit on top, you could put a fruit syrup on it.
Or side of it. Like you can
On
put
the
it
side
on the
of it. Yep. So go ahead and I'll let you guys decorate it how you want. You want me to cut some strawberries up for you?
Sure.
Okay. You guys can put the blueberries and raspberries.
Do it equal. We only had frozen blueberries when we made
Okay.
this, so Mom put them in the microwave
Okay.
and made it. It was kind of like blueberry sauce.
Or can I cut off
Okay.
the banana maybe?
Yeah, you want some banana on there? Your experience with the banana, you said that it did get a little bit brown after a couple of days in the refrigerator. So, here, I'll slice up.
Fruit looks
Just
so
gonna put
good.
You know, if
Rachel has always loved fruit.
you should make a smiley face on it.
You could decorate it if it was someone's birthday.
I have to tell the story since my dad is in the room, but when Rachel was a baby, my dad would take her out to the raspberry patch in our yard, and Rachel would eat the whole, like every single raspberry in the patch.
I think I remember that. Yeah, Dad.
And then when my son was born, he was so looking forward to taking him out to the raspberry patch. And he put a raspberry in his mouth and spit it out. But now he likes raspberries, so sometimes he
These
takes
cut?
a couple
Yeah.
times. Yep. All right, that looks so beautiful. So they opted for a mixture of all of the fruits together. But you could, again, do sections. So raspberries in one section, blueberries in another. You could do chocolate chips on here. Some people like cream cheese mixed in. So you can do a whole bunch of different flavors of pancakes. So use your imagination, be creative, and have fun with your kids or grandkids in the kitchen.
And if you have extra mango, you can maybe put some on there.
You could put mango on there, yeah. Just because we use those fruits doesn't mean that you're limited to those. You could use any fruit you wanted on there, within reason. There might be fruits that wouldn't be good on there. But
Maybe orange would not.
orange would probably not be good. Any fruit that gets really
Citrusy.
juicy, citrus
Citrus.
fruits
Yeah, like
would be-
apple.
Melon would not be
Apple,
good.
maybe.
Apple would be
Maybe.
good. Like an apple and walnut.
Watermelon would not be good.
Watermelon would not be good.
Don't
No.
incinerate in the oven. Don't incinerate in the oven.
It would just.
Yes. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming all the way from Grand Rapids. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks to our audience. Does anybody have any questions for me or our expert chefs? Thank you all so much for coming, and thanks for tuning in at home. We'll see you next month. Love you too, Miles.